COVID-19 creating confusion for parents and educators with a new school year just a month away? The one district that just released more details about its back-to-school plans. COVID-19 puts fall college sports on the sidelines. The major athletic conference sliding half a dozen competitive schedules to 2021. Humid, hot, and it feels like 105. Scott Connell will tell us when the heat advisory kicks in this weekend and how to stay safe.
We begin with breaking news. The St. Louis City Board of Aldermen just voted on one of the most controversial issues in the city, closing the workhouse. Good evening, I'm Morgan Young.
And I'm Kay Quinn, working from home.
A unanimous vote to close the workhouse came just in the last hour. Critics of the workhouse have argued that the conditions at the medium security jail are inhumane. Everyone there is waiting for trial, either out bail or they can't afford it. The bill now goes to Mayor Lyda Krewson. Aldermen are now discussing privatizing the airport. We will, of course, update you if a decision is made on that bill.
And we are following another breaking story. St. Louis will be waiting a little bit longer for its new Major League Soccer team to come to town. Just a short time ago, MLS Commissioner Don Garber announced the expansion of the league to St. Louis would be delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The St. Louis club is now slated to begin play in 2023 instead of 2020. So what happens to the new stadium? In a post on social media, MLS for the Lou said the construction is still moving full steam ahead, including the hiring of staff and the releasing of a club name, crest, and colors. Right, some rumbles of thunder, the heat back with a vengeance. If you've been outside today, you know it. The entire area will soon be under a heat advisory. We've got storms popping up in the meantime. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, a lot going on this afternoon, Kay, for sure. We have the thunderstorms popping up. For many of us, the heat index values, they've already been in the triple digits this afternoon. At one point, our dew point in St. Louis, right around 80 degrees, 79, 80 degrees. Look at the temperatures. Where it's not storming, we have temperatures that are in the mid-90s in many cases, like Warrenton and Chesterfield. Feels like it's 105 in Chesterfield. Alton's heat index at 108, but you'll notice cooler down to the south. And even Lambert's cooled off a little bit. There's one storm east of Edwardsville, but here's a little cluster in the metro area, right out Highway 70 and then on into St. Charles County. There is a live look from our Chesterfield camera right now, and you can see that we are looking at those storms building. Farther south, there is an aerial flood advisory for portions of Washington County down into Iron County. But these heavy thunderstorms that have been drenching areas to our south, those are now beginning to diminish. We'll check back with more on the heat and how long it lasts in a bit.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, Scott. So what will the new school year look like when the semester begins next month? Ahead of plans that many school districts will roll out for us next week, that is the big question we know a lot of you are asking. So our Abby Larico talked with someone who's tasked with coming up with answers.
We've heard from a lot of parents and teachers about their questions and concerns regarding the upcoming school year, but many of them tell me they are glad they're not the ones making the call. Well, Education Plus is an organization helping nearly 60 of our area school districts come up with their reopening plans, and the CEO tells me it has not been simple. He says each district is coming up with what works for its schools based on their own resources, financial, personnel, classroom space, and technology infrastructure, but every plan involves three things. One, an attempt to get kids physically back in the classroom safely. Two, an online option, especially if the schools have to close again. And three, this one's important, flexibility.
I fully expect that most districts will tweak their plans in some way, shape, or form over the next 5 weeks. Some may even improve where they feel like they have a better opportunity to bring more kids face to face, but they will change.
The Parkway School District just released more information on its reopening plans. Families will have two options. One, 100% online learning, or two, in-person learning in a route that involves several different scenarios based on the current health situation. The district will announce how the school year will begin on July 20th when other districts announce their reopening plans as well. Abby Larico, 5 on your side.
Well, if you plan on going grocery shopping in our area, you'll need to wear a mask regardless of the local laws. Starting Monday, Schnucks and Deerbergs will require face coverings at all locations, and it doesn't matter where you live. Some of the nation's biggest retailers are also now requiring masks. Walmart, Target, CVS, and Walgreens all announced customers must wear them in their stores as the number of COVID-19 cases continues to go up. Those store policies take effect Monday as well. And that brings us to the question of the day. Do you feel safe going to a store without a mask policy? You can vote right now on the 5 on Your Sign app, or you can go to ksdk.com/vote.
And here's a reminder about why masks are so important. Yesterday, St. Louis County reported its highest number of cases of COVID-19 in a single day since the start of the pandemic. So we made this graph. Each blue bar represents a single day in the pandemic. Look to the far right. You can see yesterday there were 261 new confirmed cases just in St. Louis County. It's second only to Tuesday, when there were 243 new cases. The black dots represent the 7-day moving average. That's up compared to the previous 7 days.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page gave an update this morning about how the county is using some of the money it received through the coronavirus stimulus bill.
This pandemic is actually 3 crises. This is a public health crisis, a humanitarian crisis, and an economic crisis. So for the humanitarian programs, we are focusing on senior and homebound programs. This includes providing meals, cleaning supplies, protective equipment, and medical transportation services.
Page says the county is in the process of awarding nearly $10 million in CARES Act funds for those humanitarian efforts. Also, the Urban League will receive $350,000 for housing. The Urban League president says the organization will use that money to help seniors and children. In all, the county got $175 million in CARES Act funds.
The pandemic will keep St. Louis University athletes sidelined this fall. Today, the Atlantic 10 conference that SLU belongs to announced it's postponing fall sports competitions and championships. The decision impacts men and women's cross country, field hockey, soccer, tennis, volleyball, swimming, and diving programs. The conference will take another look at the situation again in mid-September to see if it will be safe enough for any of the sports to have a shortened season.
Well, here is a live look at Busch Stadium, and brace for it. 1 week from today, the Cardinals will be playing. The Cardinals' shortened season begins with a home exhibition game on Wednesday, July 22nd, and the official home opener on Friday, July 24th.
Now just remember, fans won't be allowed at Busch Stadium, but you will be able to watch the games from Ballpark Village, the Budweiser Brew House, Cardinals Nation, the Sports and Social, just some of the spots in Ballpark Village that will be open. You are encouraged to make reservations, though, due to limited capacity. Blanchette Bridge drivers can expect more traffic delays on I-70. MoDOT will be closing the eastbound side of the Blanchette Bridge starting tonight at 9 right through Sunday morning. MoDOT says the 2 left lanes of eastbound I-70 will stay open across the westbound bridge. If you need to detour, you can use Route 94, Route 370, and I-64.
Well, coming up, the construction industry is surging right now. What's causing this increase in home building?
One young man making his dreams come true. A recent college grad makes his jump to the silver screen.
And Netflix isn't doing too shabby either. The expectations the company is exceeding.
And we continue to track the heat across the area and some thunderstorms as well. The strong storms prompting a flood advisory for parts of the city of St. Louis into St. Charles County. We're tracking those when we come back.
Nissan has a new logo and car emblem, and we're getting a look at it for the first time. The lettering is a little bit different than the old one, and the image of a circle is still there, but it isn't connected. Nissan officials hope the new design will be a symbol of the car maker's new beginning. The old logo was put into use in 2001 under the leadership of the company's last CEO. He stepped down in 2017. New home construction soared last month. Construction of U.S. homes jumped more than 17% in June as many states reopened. But the pace is still behind last year after this spring's massive slowdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Construction activity remains 4% below last year's pace.
Well, this probably won't shock you all that much. Netflix has tripled its normal number of new subscribers in the quarter since the coronavirus pandemic hit. Netflix says it picked up more than 10 million subscribers worldwide from April through June. At the end of June, Netflix says it had 193 million worldwide subscribers, including 70 million in the U.S. and Canada.
The pandemic is forcing people to live their lives a lot differently these days, and that includes what we eat. Seafood sales are surging, but how safe are the products?
A recent college grad is seeing his dreams come true. How this St. Louisan made it all happen amid a pandemic.
And the gymnastic Olympic trials officially rescheduled, when we can see Olympic hopefuls flip their way into the history books.
We want to remind you that Schnucks is once again sponsoring the Folds of Honor campaign. 5 on Your Side is a proud partner. Money raised provides scholarships to spouses and children of fallen and injured service members. You can round up your total at the register from now until August 11th. You can also text FOLDS to 314-444-5125 to donate. As the U.S. keeps setting daily records for new coronavirus cases, President Trump is taking a beating in the polls, and the White House is considering a shift in strategy. At the same time, Georgia is in the spotlight today for a political war of wills over masks. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
With new U.S. coronavirus cases now soaring past 77,000 in a single day, President Trump's poll numbers are heading in the opposite direction. A Washington Post ABC News poll out today finds 60% disapprove of the president's pandemic response, a sharp increase since March. The president did not hold any events focused on the growing coronavirus crisis this week, but the White House says that will change.
His approval rating on the pandemic was higher when he was at the podium. It was 51% in March. And I think people want to hear from the President of the United States.
During those daily task force briefings, President Trump was often criticized for overshadowing the advice of medical professionals and giving fuel to the protests against shutdowns and face masks. In one of the hardest hit states, the governor of Georgia is now suing the mayor of Atlanta, trying to block her order requiring masks in public.
While we all agree that wearing a mask is effective, I'm confident that Georgians don't need a mandate to do the right thing.
It is an absolute waste of resources, and it is really a distraction from what the real enemy is here. And that enemy is this virus that's killing people in our city.
Mayor Bottoms believes she's being targeted for pointing out that President Trump violated city ordinance by not wearing a mask when he visited Atlanta this week. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, meanwhile, the coronavirus and the nationwide shutdown that followed have people exploring food options they may have forgotten about or just never tried. The sale of seafood has surged. Now industry experts want consumers to know their products are safe. NBC's Dan Shinneman has the details.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced Americans to think about what they touch, breathe, and eat.
If you really want to live a healthy, vibrant life, your diet is critical.
Sean Wittenberg, co-founder of the seafood company Safe Catch, says that's good for his business.
By moving away from food that is less healthy for you towards healthier solutions like seafood.
And Wittenberg believes with many restaurants closed, shoppers are giving a classic product a fresh look.
For us in shelf-stable seafood, canned fish, it's a particularly exciting time for us to meet new customers. Realizing that there's a significant number of shoppers that have never walked the canned fish aisle in years.
But while the pandemic has helped domestic seafood sales surge, in China there is a snag, with Beijing limiting salmon imports because of COVID fears.
China is creating a narrative to posture the other way, where they can say, well, we're not going to take U.S. goods because we're concerned about this issue, when I think it's more about, it's more political than it is legitimate food safety concerns.
Wittenberg insists the products and the people who process it are tested regularly.
The more testing we do, the more comfortable people are that we have everything under control.
And that means what's on the plate is both safe and healthy. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
The U.S. Olympic team trials for gymnastics have been rescheduled. The trials were supposed to happen last month at the Enterprise Center. The trials are now slated to happen next June, still at the Enterprise Center. So if you have tickets, you can still use them next year. This comes, of course, as the Tokyo Olympics was pushed back a year because of coronavirus concerns. Well, there are some really creative minds in St. Louis. In today's My Lou segment, Caleb Blue tells 5 Under Sides When He Not he's been drawing since he's been able to hold a pencil, creating characters inspired by movies like Star Wars and the X-Men. Now he's taking his skills to the next level for all of us to see. The O'Fallon Township grad has animated his first film, and the pandemic couldn't stop it from happening.
It's not every day that you get to see your passion come to life.
I've always been a fan of art and storytelling.
The words are hard to find.
It's indescribable.
Caleb Blue is officially a filmmaker.
I've always wanted to make a film. This is my very first one.
Now at the age of 22, he has completed his animated short, The King and the Pawn, the story of a boy bonding with his dad.
In the process of doing so, his world has changed.
Over a game of chess.
I'm not a player of chess, but I thought that would be great for the aspect of life.
The effort to tell the story was sort of a chess game within itself. Caleb and his team,
20 people, 20 amazing teammates,
all had to do hours of work apart.
We had problems every single step of the way. The coronavirus happened. We did the last half of the film online through things like Zoom, all at home. I did it on this laptop.
The effort is not going unnoticed. The film is featured in this year's St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase, giving his debut even more meaning.
It's nothing when you just make it and no one sees it.
He's hoping those who see it will also see people like him in a different light.
I was like, hey, let's put African American characters just to humanize us and show that, you know, we're not all that different.
He's hoping this is just the beginning of his storytelling.
On the poster of the film, it all starts with the first move. That's how things seem to work for me. It all starts with that first step.
And Caleb knows exactly what his next step will be. He's a recent college grad.
I graduated with this film. This was my last requirement. I wanted to go out with a bang.
And now he needs a paycheck.
Next, I would like to get a job.
You can see Caleb's film, The King and the Pawn, online through Sunday. We've got a link posted on our website, ksdk.com. And Kay, I don't know about you, but that amazes me. I struggle with drawing stick people. So when I see that, I love it.
And, you know, all the workarounds too, Morgan, you know, they had to do so many things over Zoom, or, you know, they're not working in one room. So really amazing work. And he's going to get a job, no problem.
No
so
doubt.
Talented. Yeah. All right. Scott Connell is keeping an eye on the radar, which is handy right now because we have pop-up thunderstorms in the area.
We
Scott?
do. We have some strong thunderstorms in the metro St. Louis area. Nothing severe, but they are putting down some pretty tropical rain. And if you know you've been outside today, you know how muggy it has become. And so that's led to these thunderstorms popping up around St. Louis. We had them earlier today down to the south and southwest. But right now, we actually have a flood advisory in effect for St. Louis City, parts of St. Louis County into St. Charles County. And it's for this cluster of thunderstorms that kind of developed right along Interstate 70 and has been sagging south along Lindbergh and out towards 270. We're looking at some of the rainfall rates where you see the darker red coming down at the rate at times of 4 to 5 inches an hour, kind of picked right in here. And it looks like around Creve Coeur, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 inches an hour. Now, we're also looking down to the southwest of St. Louis, St. Clair here in Franklin County, heading in towards Union. This cluster has developed pretty quickly. And what you notice is from the storms down to our south, see that little boundary, that little thin line that's kind of scooting to the north? That's an outflow boundary. The storms around the metro have also put down an outflow boundary, and they're colliding right now along Highway 4064 out in West St. Louis County. So we'll see if that helps inspire additional development or even intensifies the rain. This is the view from our live weather camera in St. Charles, and we're looking back towards St. Louis County and towards the airport. You can see just how dark the skies are. The airport has seen things settle down, temperatures dropping under those thunderstorms to around 80 degrees. But if you haven't been impacted by the thunderstorms, you're still in the 90s, and dew point temperatures have been running in the upper 70s, mid to upper 70s. And so that's pushed those heat index values. Look at Cahokia at 109, what it feels like right now. Over in Edwardsville, feels like it's 108 degrees. O'Fallon, 106 out in Lake St. Louis, already over 110. Heat advisory goes into effect tomorrow. Could have easily done it today based on what happened, but we didn't think it'd be quite this humid this afternoon. But that heat advisory tomorrow and into Sunday. It's going to be really hot this weekend. Showers and storms will diminish this evening. Once we get past sunset, the chances of showers and storms really are pretty low here through the entire weekend. But what won't be low, those temperatures nor the heat index. Both Saturday and Sunday afternoon, we're looking at heat index values, especially in the city, that could top out around 110, 112 degrees in the hottest spots. 83 is what we're seeing right now from Lambert. Picked up about 1/3 of an inch of rain out of that thunderstorm. Any scattered showers and thunderstorms are ending this evening, and then we're dealing with searing heat over the weekend. Temperatures in the upper 90s for highs. And we'll have showers and storms rolling our way. It looks like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That should knock the temperatures back a few degrees. But dangerously hot weather. 5 on your side at 4. Coming right back.
We're going to be looking for the shade this weekend, so the moment of the day is devoted to the great outdoors. Viewer Carol Schmidt recently visited the waterfall at Forest Park. Have you been here? This would be a great place to cool off this weekend. Thanks, Carol. Patricia Geller-Boudria sent this photo of her Easter lilies. They bloomed well into June this year. Just makes me cooler just to think about it. And a shout out to Don and Sandy Kozitsky of Arnold. This is their amazing pond where they have their morning coffee. Now that is a peaceful spot. Finally, Cheryl Hirsch from St. Peter's sent a photo of a goldfinch pecking at her flowers. Great shot, Cheryl. Show me your special moments these days. Email your photos or video to kquinn@ksdk.com.
Makes you feel better about all that heat that's coming our way. That is all of our time for 5 on your side at 4. Jeopardy is next, and we'll see you right back here at 5.